Hello and welcome. I'm Kat CrypKid, and this is our first episode of CrypKids. Today, we're going to start by talking about the cryptid that started it all for me, and that's the Enfield Horror. I chose to start off with the Enfield Horror because of my daughter. I took her to a local craft fair, and there was a booth there selling handmade cryptid dolls, and she was absolutely fascinated. When we got home that night, she had me going over cryptid lore for her for hours. And eventually, I tried to find a video here on YouTube to talk to her about cryptid lore so she could learn more. But unfortunately, I didn't really find anything that wasn't going to be too scary for my 5-year-old. So I decided it was time to start a channel talking about cryptid lore that's going to be kid friendly and not too scary for our little viewers. So, without further ado, go grab your flashlight, get cozy, and let's dive right into the Enfield Horror. Put yourself for a second into Enfield, Illinois. It's April 1973. Henry McDaniel and his wife were getting home just about 9:30 from a night out. As soon as they got home, their two children, Lil and Henry Jr., tell them all about how some thing had tried to get into the house by scratching at the door repeatedly. Henry and his wife didn't think much of it and they sent the kids off to bed. A short little while later, Henry heard the scratching that his children had described. He goes to investigate, expecting to see maybe a stray dog or a cat, but what he saw was way weirder. At his front door stood a grayish creature with a short body, 3 legs, 2 tiny arms, and 2 giant pink eyes that were as big as flashlights. The creature was about 4.5 feet tall. That's probably taller than your kitchen counters, but not as tall as your mom or dad. Henry slammed the door and went to find a flashlight and something to scare the creature away. When he came back, he managed to hit the creature, who made a horrible screeching sound. Some sources say it sounded a lot like a wildcat. The creature then hopped away across his entire front yard in just 3 hops. Could you imagine jumping only 3 times and jumping across your entire front yard? Henry called the police, who came out to investigate. They found tons of scratches on the side of his house and footprints in his yard. The footprints were similar to a dog's, except that these had 6 toes instead of 4. 2 of the footprints were the same size, but the third was smaller. A lot of people in the police department didn't really believe Henry, even though Henry wasn't the first person that night to report seeing the creature to police. Reportedly, the creature had ripped a child's shirt with its claws and shredded the same child's shoes with its toes. The police searched and searched, but they couldn't find the creature or even any proof that it was real. So things calmed down for a little while. A couple of weeks later, in the middle of the night, Henry said he saw the creature again. He woke up because his neighbor's dogs were barking and barking and barking. When he went to go check what was upsetting the dogs, he saw the creature hanging out on the train tracks by his house. The creature wasn't in a hurry to go anywhere, it was just hopping along the tracks. At this point, people from all over came to Enfield to see if they could catch a glimpse of the Enfield Horror. They were super excited, but they also started to create problems for the town. This caused Roy Pichard Jr., who was the sheriff at the time, to tell Henry to stop talking about the creature, or the sheriff would have to put Henry in jail. Over the next few months, the number of people coming to town only continued to grow. Some of the visitors to the town were genuine monster hunters, but others were just there looking for a fight with the creature. At one point, the sheriff had to arrest 5 people who were trying to hit a gray thing that ran through the woods. 2 of those people, Mike Mogul and Roger Tappy, swore that they had seen a gray monkey move through the underbrush in the woods. Once the number of people coming to town trying to see the creature had dwindled down, 4 more people claimed to see the Enfield Horror. A director at a local radio station, Rick Rainbow, was searching an area with three of his friends when they saw something that was around 5.5 feet tall, gray, and stooped over running through the woods near Henry's house. They said the creature moved unnaturally fast and was quickly gone from their line of sight. However, Rick Rainbow claims he was able to record the creature's eerie shriek as it ran away from them. World renowned cryptozoologist Lauren Coleman even came out to Enfield to investigate. Lauren said she talked to the witnesses, looked at the side of Henry's house where the scratches were, and even heard the screeching noises that the creature made. And she left confused with no real answers. There is some speculation that maybe the same creature was seen in Mount Vernon, about 40 miles away from Enfield, in 1941 and 1942. These encounters involved a mysterious leaping beast that terrified the locals and was apparently responsible for some animal deaths in the region. The locals called this one the Mount Vernon Monster and said it looked like a baboon, but it could jump anywhere between 20 and 40 feet in just one jump. This creature is widely considered to be closer to the devil monkey rather than the Enfield horror, but it's definitely possible this was an earlier sighting of the Enfield horror. That's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and then leave me a comment letting me know what cryptid you want to know about next. Until next week, stay weird, kids.